I there's a lot going on. I have with me for a few minutes here a young man from the Democratic Party, and there's a lot going on in our country today. The Republicans and Democrats are at it, especially about the wall and President Trump and things like that. I have with me George Weisgerber the third, George Weisgerber III. He's an entrepreneur, actor, and a member of the New York State Democratic County Committee.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. And, I think it's really important that, there's, I'll be perfectly frank, I'm liberal, I'm progressive, but believe it or not, the first site that I look at every morning is Breitbart. Then I look at Red News, redstate.com, and then the Daily Caller. And the reason for that is I think it's really important. I already know what my ideas are and what my opinions are. And I think it's important that, we listen to, we step across the aisle and listen to people who have opposing views. I even will go on Al Jazeera and RT.com. Now, for instance, I know.
George, let me ask you this first, George. You say you are a liberal, and welcome to the show, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You say you are a liberal. Have you always been a liberal?
Yes, I always have. And interestingly enough, there's that idiom that, if you're if you're a liberal if you're a conservative at 20, you have no heart. And if you're a liberal at 40, you have no brains. Well, I think that's completely inaccurate because I've actually become more progressive over time. And it's just because I, realize that's, we've seen, we've had Republican administrations, we've had Democratic administrations, and I see, the direction that the country goes when we're under progressive leadership, and it's just much better for everyone.
As a man, and a male who is a man, why did you become a liberal?
Well, I think it's just, I'm not religious, but I know you are, a reverend, and I feel that, one thing that surprises me is that, I'm focused on. I always feel win-win-win. That's always been my ethos, and I feel that progressivism really benefits all. It benefits we help to bring others, bring people who may be, disenfranchised up, and it benefits everyone.
But do you agree with me that being a liberal is such a feminine thing that real men are conservatives because men lead the way? A liberal follow good men as they're leading. Do you agree that being a liberal is such a feminine thing to be?
No, I mean, actually, I think it's the opposite. I always feel that if a man is confident in his masculinity, he doesn't need to, degrade or oppress women or engage in misogyny, and that's that's why I feel that anytime a man is kind of feeling that he needs to oppress women, it's probably has to do with.
But men don't oppress women. Women oppress men. Men don't stand up to women. They go. If you notice, in relationships where men are dating women or married to them or living with them, the man is the boy and the woman is the mama. And so I don't know where that idea came from that men oppress women. You've noticed that in most relationships, men are like boys and women are the mothers, right? The woman that they're dating or married to is the mother. Have you noticed that?
I've heard that, but I don't necessarily.
Have you seen? Are you dated or married?
I am in a relationship, and I feel that we're partners, and that's I always feel that, in all relationships, whether it's a business relationship, whether it's a professional, an intimate relationship, people should be equals.
I know, but isn't it in your relationship, since you call yourself, is it with another man? You said partners.
Oh, no. Well, no, I know it's with a woman, but
why do you say partner if it's not a man? Because normally men and women say my wife or my girlfriend. Why do you call them partner?
Well, because I think that it's important that we learn to use language that's basically includes all and is not exclusionary.
I know, but you sound like a homosexual relationship when you say partner.
No, I think that again shows confidence because I'm not. I don't feel intimidated. I don't have to project my masculinity to show that I'm a man. I think a lot of times, and you've seen this unfortunately, many men who feel that they have to put on this outward appearance of being so this machismo and this it generally are the ones who sometimes may have some insecurities or may not be or maybe
You're
suppressing
right.
some of their.
They become like their mothers, so they're pretending to be men because they don't know what it is to be a man. And so, in your relationship, have you noticed that you're like the boy and your girlfriend is like the mama to you because you're afraid to correct her? You're afraid to speak up to her. You don't know how to handle her anger when she's out of control. That
No, I think that again, once it's here a great thing to look at is the Kavanaugh hearings,
right.
and a lot of the behavior that he engaged in, or allegedly engaged in is not only disrespectful to women, but it shows that he has no respect for his own self-worth.
But see, that's not true. You just said allegedly. That means that you believed a woman that was lying on him, and there was no proof. And the people who she said that was with her at the time said, no, I don't remember anything like men and women said the woman was lying. But yeah, you're saying that, and that's why I don't want you to be a liberal because liberals lie. You're accusing Brett Kavanaugh as though it's true, and a real man would not do that.
Well, no,
And he
I
was
think
proven innocent, not guilty, but you're still pushing it as though he was guilty. And a real man wouldn't do that to another man or a woman.
No, well, I do believe in due process. For instance, I don't think that just because an allegation is made that it means that it's true. And I think that Kavanaugh was given due process, and a lot of the evidence that came to light, for instance, his calendars, witness testimony.
Well, I don't want to waste a lot of time because he was proven to be innocent and that woman lied. But what does it feel like to be in a relationship with this woman that you're in a relationship with, and she controls you, you don't control her? How does that feel?
Well, I wouldn't know how it feels just because we are, again, it's an equal relationship. And I think that's important in all relationships that one person shouldn't dominate. And I think whether it's, as I said, any type of relationship, if the same way I discussed earlier, if all you do is focus on your own ideas, then you're not going to expand your horizon.
So is your woman equal to you? Are you the same as a woman?
I don't think equality. Here's a great.
Are you
quote.
the same as a woman in your relationship? You said you guys are equal. Are you saying you're just like the woman in the relationship?
Well, I understand. I understand why you might feel like that. And
no, I don't feel that way. I'm asking you, are you saying that because you said you're equal? Are you saying you're just like your woman?
Well, I would say we have a lot of things in common. But,
like what?
There's a great quote, and it says, "If you're accustomed to, privilege, equality feels like oppression. But if you're accustomed to oppression, equality feels like privilege." And the reason I bring that up is some men are now feeling threatened because women are actually just getting equality. And it's just because those men are just so used to not having to do their fair share and being able to dominate.
But that's not why men feel concerned today. They don't feel like because women are getting equality. These women are hateful women. They are trying to oppress men. These are some of the most hateful, nasty women I've ever seen. And these men don't know how to stand up to it. But I want to go back.
Now, when you say, let's go.
I want to go back. So are you saying in your relationship, you're just like your woman? You guys are equal. You're just like her.
Yes.
So you feel like a woman? Do you feel like a woman?
I don't feel like a woman, but once again, I think that, real men who have confidence are generally feminists. What was the name of the senator?
No, real men are not feminists. If you look at the Great White Hope, he's not a feminist. He's a real man. And the feminists hate him because they can't control him. Have you noticed that?
No, I actually have not. And
you haven't noticed that the Great White Hope is a real man?
I honestly don't know exactly what you're referring to.
President Trump. You know who President Trump is?
Oh, well, the Great White Hope. That's interesting. No, well. First of all, as I said, President Trump has a lot of insecurities.
What are his insecurities? What are his insecurities?
Well, I mean, I think he's one about his wealth.
That's not true. Where's the proof of that? Where's the proof of that he's insecure about it? Well, he doesn't even take money for being the president. He take $1 or something by law.
Here's a great Republican who I actually admire very much was Teddy Roosevelt, and he said, you speak softly and carry a big stick.
Where's Teddy now?
Teddy Roosevelt is deceased.
I rest my case.
Oh yeah, well, I think everybody, unfortunately, as you know, everyone does eventually die. But he lived a great life. But the reason I bring that up, look at him. He was a guy who accomplished so much, won the Nobel Peace Prize, traveled throughout the world, was the youngest elected president at the time, but yet he didn't feel the need to brag. People who brag, people who feel the need to show off, generally are compensating. And I think that's what Donald Trump does.
So that's an interesting point. So when you hear these women saying, I'm a strong woman, I'm a strong black woman, a white woman, this is the year of the woman, you're like, why are you bragging? You're lying because you're bragging. If it was real, you wouldn't be bragging. You're right about those women. They're very insecure.
Well, no, I think that they feel the need to, again, when you haven't had a voice, you want to. And I think women who say that, it's less about them trying to show off themselves, but more about empowering, other women and empowering all people. So like for instance, I believe
when did they not have a voice? Women's voice been around forever. That's what's been driving people crazy.
Well, women did not receive the suffrage and the right to vote in all states until 1920.
Amazing.
We still don't have an equal rights amendment for women. So to say that women have always had equality is inaccurate.
Are you controlled by your woman?
No, again, it's.
Are you living with her?
No, I'm not. It's a partnership,
A partner.
Any relationship should be a partnership. It doesn't even have to be, for instance.
I don't know how a man can be a partner in a relationship, can be a partner with a woman. You have to become a woman in order to be a partner, right? But is that right?
No, I don't think that's. For instance, let's look at the current gridlock right now that we're experiencing with the government shutdown.
Yes.
If President Trump looked at the House and Nancy Pelosi as a partner, they could come to an amicable solution that helps to secure our borders.
But he's trying to, and she won't do it.
Well, I mean, he thinks he's a great negotiator.
He is. But he's better than Nancy for sure.
He's not on the same page as his own vice president. He's not on the same page as the Senate Majority Leader. They came to an agreement in December. But
those are weak men, though. Those are cowardly beta males. Why would he be on the same page as they are?
It's interesting. So you feel that? You're saying you feel Vice President Pence is a weak, cowardly male? Is that correct?
He's a beta male when it comes to President Trump. I like him. I believe he's a good man, but he doesn't have the same strength and manhood that President Trump has. I want to have.
Now I have a question.
Because
I have a question for you about because you like to talk about relationships, and there was Vice President Pence once said that he feels that it's inappropriate for him to have dinner with any woman other than his wife, even if it has to do with talking about business or coming to a legislative solution. Do you agree with that? Do you feel that you should not be allowed to share a meal with anyone other than your own wife?
In today's America, I don't know why he said that, but he's right, because women would lie and accuse you and say things about you, try to destroy you. And if he had a witness there, his wife there, she can't lie on him because the wife is there to see what happened. So I agree with him in that term.
So now, do you ever socialize or have dinner with anyone other than your wife?
I'm not married, but if I was married and I went to dinner with my wife, with another woman, I would have if not my wife, I would have another witness there
present.
because
Okay.
you can't trust these women nowadays, especially liberal women. I want to ask you about this. You know about this incident with the boys from the Catholic
Yes.
school, and this old Indian man. The boys were standing around. They were at a rally in D.C., of course, Save Your Life rally or something like that, or For Life rally. And they were waiting to go back to Kentucky, waiting for the bus. And this old Indian man, pretend Indian, went over March for Your Life. This old Indian man went up to them, beat the drum, and get in their faces, these young kids' faces, and carried on. They didn't get violent with him. They didn't know what was going on, really. And this old Indian man is an activist who pretended to be a victim. And then you had these black so-called Israelites going over and taunting the guys as well. And now the white guys in the school under attack, no class today because of the attack. They're accusing the white boys as opposed to the blacks and the Indian who caused the whole problem. What do you think about that situation?
Okay, I just want to ask a question. You said that he was a fake Indian. What does that mean? You're saying he was not an indigenous?
He was doing that.
American.
He was doing that thing like, oh, go, whatever that dumb stuff is.
So you're very familiar with the customs of Native Americans and indigenous practice, and you know that that's not.
Well, I know
that
that they need to become Americans now, and he was pretending to be an Indian. But my question is, because of time,
Sure.
What do you think about the attack upon the white boys, but nothing done to the blacks and the so-called Indian that was there?
Well, I think that it was. I think again, these are young men. I think what they did was inappropriate, but at the same time,
what did they do that was inappropriate? They were approached. They weren't bothering anyone. What did they do that was inappropriate?
Well, I'll be frank. I do think it's wrong that we shouldn't. No one should advocate violence against these young men and anyone.
What did they do that was inappropriate that caused this old Indian and these black guys to attack them?
They attacked them.
Well, not attack them, but
I watched the entire
right. Not attack them physically, but to go over and harass them. What did the boy verbally attack? What did the boys do to them? The white boys do. You said it was inappropriate.
I think they were the one gentleman who was wearing the Make America Great hat was definitely getting very close and invading the space of
No. The so-called Indian invaded the boy's space. He went over to the boy, and the boy just stood there and smiled. What did the boys do that was inappropriate? Because that wasn't a good example.
Well, I think some of the things that they said, and again, I don't think that
they didn't say anything.
Well, I've watched the entire video.
I did too.
I do feel that there's no reason that anyone should say we should, kill or hurt these people. I don't advocate. I mean, again, we're just yesterday celebrated MLK's.
What did the boys do that was inappropriate? You didn't tell me yet.
I think it was some of the language that they used.
They didn't use any language.
So you're saying they didn't speak at all?
They didn't do anything to attack back. The guy, as a matter of fact, they didn't even understand what was happening. They didn't know there was an activist. So they danced along, had fun, because they didn't know they were under verbal attack at the time. So what did the boys do that was inappropriate?
Well, and again, I think it was just, the fact that this gentleman is a veteran, that he is a Native American.
What did the boys do that was inappropriate? This man, that Indian, so-called Indian guy, is an activist. He knew what he was doing. Those boys had no clue as to what he was doing or who he was.
I think it was just, again, the language. Again, they're young.
How do you know this guy's a vet? The old Indian.
I think that was in the media. It was.
But doesn't mean that it's true, though.
Okay, well, it was reported pretty widely, and the sources did that. I do agree with. But one thing that I want to question you as a reverend, and those boys were there marching for pro-life. Now, I would think, and I think even Barack Obama, there's a great quote from him. He says, "No one is pro-abortion." So I think that
Obama is a liar.
He's a liar. So do you think that
the fallen Messiah is the worst president we ever had? He even admitted that he was first feminist president. So need I say more?
Well, my question to you is, obviously you have indicated that you're pro-life. Those boys who were there were. Now, I would think that if you want to reduce the number of abortions, and as you know, the number of abortions performed in the United States are going down every year because of things like increased access to contraception, Plan B. So, if as someone who wants to protect unborn life, I would think that you would be more of an advocate for making contraception available.
No, I want them to outlaw abortion. I want them to get rid of free contraception. And if people want to do it, they can do what they want. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to assist them in doing it. I got it. We're coming to an end. Are you for the wall? Are you for the wall around the border?
No, I think there's better ways to secure the border. I think, and even immigrant groups that are strongly opposed to immigration will tell you that a wall.
So
is
you're
not a
okay
solution.
with the illegal aliens coming across the borders?
No, I feel that we need to. The majority of people who are undocumented living here in the United States came here, traveled here.
Those
by
are
plane,
illegal aliens. I'm talking about the illegal aliens.
They came here legally. On a visa, and they overstayed their
No, I'm not
visa.
talking about those people. I'm talking about the illegal aliens who are crossing the border.
There's not many undocumented people in the United States.
Oh, yeah, only about 20,000 or so, maybe 30,000. I mean, 30 million.
But over a million
30
undocumented
million.
people.
I'm sorry, 20 to 30 million. So let me ask this because of time. You say you're okay with the border wall, no wall. Does it bother you that these illegal aliens are ended up in the black community, my community, and the other community here in L.A. and everywhere, and they are bringing drugs and crime, and they're taking over the public school from the blacks. They are invading the free health care, like the hospitals where women, American black women are having children, and they're running blacks out of their own communities in Compton and other areas. Are you bothered by that?
Well, no, what I feel is, I feel, first of all...
Are you bothered by that first?
Well, it's not necessarily accurate because most studies
No, are you bothered by that? It is accurate. I live there. I work there.
I can't be bothered by things that are...
I live near the area.
The statistics show that, immigrants commit less crimes than people
Are you bothered by that? I want to know that question.
But how can I be bothered by something that's not accurate? That's
so you don't know that that's happening to black people?
No, well, I don't. The crime. It's a fact that there's less crimes committed, but from people who immigrate here than people who are born here.
No, that's wrong. That's fake news.
So what statistics do you have to cite?
That's fake news, George. George, will you come on again? Thank you for being. We've run out of time.
Sure, pleasure to speak to you. Have a great day.
Will you come back again?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Thank you, George. I wish you well.
Wish you well.
All right.